Alright, welcome back. Hope you're having a good day. We're going to get this started off without a whole lot of fanfare. This is just a ficus cutting sitting at a super awkward angle in the pot. It is a Ficus Rianne. It's actually a cutting from the tree that I did the trunk bend on with the wedge cut on the other day. But it's sitting in the pot at a super awkward angle, and it's one of these things of I kind of threw it in there, and I think I had to have it leaning on the side just to keep it from toppling over, as you know, with the rooting powder and everything in there. And it was just kind of like, you know, well, if it lives, I'll worry about it then, and it lived. So it's time for me to worry about it. First, before I get going too much, what I've been trying to do is go in and take all the rule breakers out and then kind of shorten it down a little bit. I'm going to shorten it down a little bit before I get going, just to kind of get it out of the pot, and also I just want to see which way it is I'm going to try to repot it and get it straight up, because there are some, like, if I left it at this angle here, there's all kinds of these little shoots that are straight up, but if I change the angle some, they might become usable branches. But I'm going to make it just smaller a bit, so I'm going to take a few inches off just to kind of get that out of my way. That's good enough for now. So I'm going to get it out, see what the roots look like before I do too much other pruning to it. I may put it in the other pot before I finish pruning it, or I might just do it while I've got it hanging out here. I am going to just put it right back in the same pot it was in. I did have just topsoil. I already see one of these roots circled all around it and getting ready to come out of the top of the pot. The cuttings there. If I would have taken the time to get this sitting up straight in some decent soil, yeah, it might have worked out better quicker, but I got plenty of time. I don't really want a stump leaning that way. Lots of really, really small feeder roots that you guys probably can't even see holding the root ball together. But it only really appears, well, there's a bigger root there. Only big roots I'm finding is that one, though. There is a little one here. Eesh, I don't like the direction that thing goes. I might have to have a leaning stump here. Let me cut this long one off. Sometimes when you cut the longer ones off, it's like undoing a puzzle. The rest of it all just kind of falls into place. And so, now, I mean, if I wanted, here's this guy here. I wonder why I didn't take that as a cutting, because I was cut off that other one. But got some rail roots coming off here. I think I might even go ahead and clean it up a little bit while I just got it in my hands here. Did notice that a couple things that it's got. It's got this. Already a little bit of movement in it, a little curve coming off there. That was just kind of from where it was sitting up against the pot. And then this shoot was actually the longest, and it's got a whole bunch of crap growing right out of the base of it too. So I had pretty much, even before I took it out of the other pot, planned on popping that thing off there. And then the little tiny, now I could, what I might do just to make it a little bit smaller here, or a lot smaller, instead of saving that long branch, save the two little tiny branches coming off there and let that heal it up like that. I might do the other ones like that too. A little bit of a last minute decision there, but I'm gonna take that guy off. that was right where I popped that off. There was like that branch and then like a dozen more little tiny ones sticking out of that little spot there. So I got that. No matter how I stand it up, those two would be on top. So I'll take that off. I think I might even go ahead and just reduce this down to one. And then there was one. Take that out. And take that out. And I'll just leave that one branch there. And I got the leader here in the middle. It's 2 branches. I'll cut the one off completely that was just a straight little pole there. Take these little guys out. And then this one here, like to reduce it down, but leave so I left a growing tip up there, left a growing tip here, left a growing tips. Well, I left like 3 growing tips there. There's a big scar there. Of course, I got that big knob right there. But now, geez, I almost have to set it in there the way it was. It's hard to believe. This cutting, I mean, I wasn't making videos at the time or anything like that, but this cutting can't be but 8-9 months old at the most. And that's one of the things, this is a, as far as I know, I mean, a few people have taken me to task on some of the scientific names I use and stuff. I mean, I don't know, I try to use searchable terms too. The other day I did that Philippensis, and I guess that doesn't really even exist. So this is going to be wild. So part of the reasons why I film inside is so that I don't have the sounds of people cutting their grass and nosy neighbors and people walking their dogs by and the birds singing and all kinds of other stuff. But I'm going to run this outside and wash these roots off just so I can get a little bit better look at what I'm doing there. Intend to just put it right back into that pot that I had it in or whatever, but I started looking, because I had a nice little circle of roots, I was going to find a piece of plastic, set it on there, and make sure that they grew out radially. But when I've seen other people do that, when I've seen that, I always wonder, like, well, what happens if they forget it's in there, or, if they sell it and whoever bought it from them forgot it was in there or didn't know it was in there or whatever. And then I just kind of remembered, and shout out to Eddie for showing me that these pots were available on Amazon. I remembered I had this little training pot, and you know what, I'm going to trim it up and get it in here. It's a little too small for it, but it could actually help me out a little bit with some of my experimentations on if I get them extremely pot bound, will they start producing aerial roots, and it'll give me a lot more control. I can repot it twice a year if I want to. So I'm going to cut the bottom a little bit flatter. Wish I could still have the garden hose in here to help me finish up some of this off, but a little bit of dirt left in there ain't going to hurt anything other than it's just makes me see it a lot easier. I'm going to pop off. There's at least 2 of these. I mean, this guy here coming way up, and of course a lot of that had to do with just the bad angle I had it in. I'd like to plant it a little more looking like a tree instead of just a cutting leaning sideways. So there's the main 2 I wanted to get rid of. This one must have broke when I was washing it off, so since it's broke, I might as well go ahead and take it out of there. It's not going to do it any good, broke. trying to leave a few, mainly just kind of give it something to anchor to and hold up to start with. And I have to get some of these just around the edges just a little bit to make sure it'll fit in that little pot. And let's see, so there's the roots all cut so that they're radiating out a little bit. I'm still going to leave it with a little bit of lean. I'll have it just like that. I already had just a little bit of soil in the bottom. Put a little more than I wanted in there, so I just kind of pushed it in a little bit. There's one nice thing about taking cuttings and stuff is that, you know, I mean, I'm a school teacher, so like even if I spend $25 on something and experiment with it and it dies, I'm really disappointed. If anything happens to this guy, I mean, I'm going to be disappointed because I actually think this is going to work. I would never do anything that I think is actually going to kill it, but I think this will work. I think it'll actually work out pretty well. Those roots kind of stuck up a little bit after I got it in there, but you know what? Whenever I update this thing is going to have roots sticking up out of everywhere. Probably even through the drain holes on the bottom.